Okay, y'all, so life has been crazy, but I'm finally able to do another YouTube video. I'm currently in Atlanta. I'm going to go through all of that here on the YouTube page. So just give me some time because there's so much information and so much that's been going on in these last couple of months, y'all. 2025 been giving your girl a run for the money. So yeah, this video, I primarily wanted to talk about choosing single motherhood, right? And I know that this video is only going to be for a specific woman, right? The woman that has had to choose the route of single motherhood to stand on morals and principles. And I did a reel on TikTok and Instagram about it today, but I think I'm gonna move away from doing reels and just more so focus on nuancing my message here on YouTube because you have so much more time and the people on YouTube are more willing to listen and go through all of the videos. And so I'm able to explain myself much better on this platform than I can in 90 seconds in a reel or a TikTok or whatever. So yeah, definitely a fan. I'm probably going to be moving away from doing reels and more so focusing on long form content here on YouTube. But to get back to the reason behind this video, I wanted this message to get out to the woman that has unfortunately had to choose single motherhood due to circumstances in her relationship, and also for divorced women, right? Especially the women that feel like they did everything right. There's a lot of women that had their children within covenant, that had their children within marriage and stability. There are women such as myself. I unfortunately did not have my child within a wedding or within marriage, but I had my child 100% out of love. I was in a committed relationship. We were working towards marriage. And so, when you see parenthood on people, there isn't really an entirely sure way to ensure that somebody's going to be a good mother and a good father. And I'm talking on both ends because I do know some single fathers out there that unfortunately have chosen wrong when it comes to the women that they've had children with. Obviously, you can pray and you can fast, and that wasn't something that I really knew the power of back then when me and my son's father had gotten together. And so I was moving on passion and moving on love, and I ended up creating Maxwell. Maxwell was created in a lot of love. He came from a lot of passion, and we tried to make things work, and they unfortunately did not work out in the worst way. When it comes to that, when you stand on your values and your principles and your self-worth, huge emphasis on self-worth, right? Because, women from years and years and years and years and years ago, they stayed because they had to. Women couldn't have bank accounts. Women couldn't go get no education. A lot of women wasn't driving. Women didn't have the same opportunities that they have nowadays. And so when a man is out doing dirt on you, or if a man is not a great father, if he is, putting his hands on you, if he is, verbally abusive, or if he is just not a great father, like, all of these things, women had to stay and they had to accept those things because there was no way out. You were a mother and you were a wife at the end of the day, or, you was stuck with taking care of your kids regardless of the situation. Like, men were going to drop their hat, be where they be, and live their life and move their own way. One thing that I've learned about being around older women is how much they admire so many of the younger women for choosing themselves first. And I want to move back into that word self-worth, because staying in a relationship or staying within a marriage that is not that's not elevating you to your highest and best self, right? There's a love that I believe that we should all experience, a love that is true, a love that is pure, a love that is filled with passion, a love that is filled with intention. And at the end of the day, if your person that you are with, if the energy is off, if there's an imbalance, any betrayal, any lies, any cheating, suffering in silence doesn't do you any justice. I understand that women want to save their families and they want their families. I fought for mine too. I didn't get to the point of where I left until I was finally fed up. And that is where most women get. Most women Unfortunately, not all, but a lot of women out there, it takes them getting to a certain point before they decide that they have to leave. And what the enemy likes to get into your head as a woman is that especially in today's time with the narratives that are out there now, like it is so popular now to say that a woman ain't worth nothing because she's a single mom or because she has children and she's unmarried. Men love to try to tell us our worth and value through the content that they push out. And you know what happens is that, like, we as women, when we're in relationships that we know are not working and we're trying to make our family unit work as much as possible, and also to save face. Nobody wants to have a divorce. Nobody wants to have a failed relationship, and nobody wants to take on the job of child rearing by themselves. It is very difficult. Like, we live in some tough economic times out here. Okay, raising children is hard by yourself, and no woman wants to take that on. No woman wants to take that on by herself. We do all that we can to fight for our children and to keep our families together, but you can only take so much. The enemy will get into your head that you can't do any better. The enemy will get into your head that nobody else will love you and your children if you go back out here or if you leave your situation, and that is simply not true. That was what I was speaking about primarily in the reel that I made earlier today. That is not true. That is a lie from hell. That is a lie from the enemy. And it's 100% not true. There is a love that exists that will help you reach the highest and the best version of yourself for your children. And also, you have to consider that staying in relationships where the energy is imbalanced, your children will pick up on that eventually. You are not necessarily saving your children by staying in toxic and terrible relationships. You are showcasing certain things to your children, and you are also showcasing how little you love yourself to your children, especially if you got daughters, baby. If you got daughters and you are staying in situations that are no good for you, that is suppressing the best parts of you. Mind you, also when I speak about suppressing the best parts of you, there are parts of you that God wants to use for you. Like, marriage and union is absolutely beautiful, and it is designed to bring both people to the best versions of themselves. And at the end of the day, if the relationship that you are in, you're having to suffer in silence for the sake of saving face because you want to keep a certain title, or you want to keep the family together, or you just don't want to be out here single and alone, you will eventually kill your faith. It is very difficult to see God's love in terrible relationships. It's very difficult to see the love of God and to really experience the love of God in bad, terrible relationships and in toxic relationships. And what eventually will happen is your faith will end up being diminished. And that is 100% what the enemy wants. The enemy wants to kill our faith. He doesn't want us walking around here being vibrant and wonderful and ministering to other people and showing God's love and light through who we are. Like, he wants us resentful. He wants us miserable. He wants us sad. He wants us disliking and hating each other. He wants us hating our partners, hating our wives. Like, he wants us in this disgusting mud of misery. And if we live that reality and if we live that truth for long enough, we'll start to think that that's just how it should be. I find it mind-boggling that when people talk about marriage and when they talk about having kids and raising families, I'm so surprised by how normal it is to speak negatively about it. Like, you hear so many men and women talking about, don't get married and don't do this and don't do that, and it sucks. Like, it's such a common joke, which, okay, I get the joking part of it, but that ain't how it's supposed to be, right? Like, you are supposed to be enjoying life with your partner. You're supposed to be, raising kids ain't easy, but at the end of the day, when you are doing it with the right person, there's a joy and happiness that's supposed to be the byproduct of it. Like, it's not supposed to be like this terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And the fact that, it's so normalized to be joking about how terrible marriage is shows you how many people are in equally yoked relationships and how common and normal it is to marry the person that you really wasn't even supposed to be marrying and making and procreating life with the person that you really wasn't supposed to. Well, when I say not supposed to, I mean the person that God had for you, right? Because God had somebody intended for us to be living our lives with. And at the end of the day, most people do not end up with that person. 9 times out of 10, we end up marrying the person that is there when we're ready. And, you know, we don't wait it out to see what God has for us, because we get impatient. And we know our biological clock is ticking. And a lot of times when it comes to men, when they're ready, they ready. So if you there and you're tolerable, and if you're beautiful and young enough to have kids, he gonna, you know what I'm saying? When he ready, he'll marry you. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, there's such an imbalance in relationships that's become so normalized. And it's so normalized, so much so that it's a common joke. And you know, I ain't no sensitive person, but that really ain't how it should be, though. You know what I'm saying? It hurts my heart when people talk so negatively about lifelong partnership and how hard it is to tolerate the person that they are living with and chose to have children with. And the enemy is tainting that image right now, which is why so many people don't want to come together and have unions. That image is being tainted, and that is due to people living within misery because they are suffering in silence, because they are afraid to leave. They're afraid to go out here and do it on their own. And the fear is understandable, but it is still fear. And the fact that you won't find better for you and for your children and to establish a family with is a lie. That's what the enemy wants you to believe. So I just wanted to come here and make this video for any woman that has had to choose single motherhood, because that is a very hard choice. It is a choice that I had to make. Like, I could have stayed and kept my family together and endured a lot of BS behind closed doors, and I chose not to. I chose myself because I wanted the best for my son. And at the end of the day, I want my son to have the best version of me. I want my son to experience the best and most lovely version of me. I don't want my son seeing certain things behind closed doors, hearing certain conversations, and normalizing struggle and heartache within union. I refuse to have that be displayed to my son. And I know that there is better out there for me, and I know God has better for me, and I know that God sees my worth. And so he will put it into the heart of whatever man that he has designed for me to love me and to love Maxwell to the best versions of ourselves. And so I believe that for myself, and I believe it for whatever woman is watching this video. But I just wanted to drop this video, and I'm coming back with so much more, y'all. I am in a space where blogging is really like my diary right now. So you're about to see and hear how I really think in my internal monologues, and I'm really excited to share that with people, because I really feel like that's something that, like, who I really am in my internal monologues, and me being able to nuance some of the eccentricities about myself, like being able to nuance that. I'm excited because I'm excited to build a community of other people that think like me and, you know, have the same joy in their spirit as me. So love y'all. I'm gonna drop another one in a couple of days. I got a little more time on my hands now while I'm in one place. So excited to share so much with y'all. I'm gonna give y'all all the tea. It's a lot of tea coming, because I got to give y'all all the updates on why I'm even in Atlanta. But anyway, love y'all.